We're Arts and Adventure Summit Sea Airwaves. This is the Ogden Arts and Adventure Show with Oberndorfer and Long, right? There we go. I'm R. Brandon Long, along with
Todd Oberndorfer.
And we are your hosts for the greatest arts and adventure podcast in all the land. And this is, I think, going to be a really good time today. Why? Not just because Todd is back, because I don't know if you caught that episode, Todd, last week with Corey, but Corey he's gunning for your spot, just so you know.
No, I didn't. I didn't listen to it. I didn't support it. I don't support him.
Okay.
I trust about half what he says most of the time.
Okay. Well, then Corey's got a ways to go, I guess. So
I'm sure.
So happy to have you back, Todd, in the studio.
How was last week, by the way?
I had a blast. It was fun because we had the voice of Ogden's daughter in the trailer who said nothing. And that was probably the greatest inside joke of the entire podcast.
Was the voice here as well?
The voice, the voice showed up
voice.
late and was not on the podcast. So the voice came afterwards, but daughter was in the studio
the whole time
and said nothing. You could hear her laughing a little bit here and there, but said absolutely nothing the whole time. So
she's not gunning for voice of Ogden.
Not gunning for voice of Ogden.
That's fine.
It's fantastic. It was pretty funny.
But if it's in the genes, I'll bet she's got a good voice though.
I don't know. I didn't hear.
Well,
So you can watch the podcast, but you won't hear the voice.
Bet she's got great stories too.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So we have, this is great. So I went to, Todd was late and missed it, the literary death match, but he was there. Literary death match 2 weeks ago, something like that. And it was fun. It was cool.
Nurture. Was it
Nurture the Creative Mind?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Alisha, did you just come up to me?
I think I did.
You just like, why did you pick me out of the crowd? Was I somebody special? What happened?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I don't remember at all.
Everyone else was busy. Everyone else had friends around them. That's it right there.
Yeah, I looked lonely. I don't know what happened.
Sitting alone in the corner.
Somebody must have introduced you at some point and mentioned who you were.
I think they pointed you out. Yeah.
Oh, they did. Okay.
That was probably it.
They're like, just whatever you do, don't talk to that guy.
And I had obviously passed your space here while meandering through the Monarch, and I was like, oh, you know what? I had wanted to meet those guys and find out more about what they were about. So I came and said hello.
So Alisha McDarris, right? Or McDarris?
You know what?
McDarris.
You know what?
McDarris?
It's a made-up name.
It's a made-up name.
So it's you can pronounce
Freelance
it.
outdoor travel journalist. And then we have Josh. Same made-up last name?
Yep.
McDarris?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Josh, video producer. And now, do you work together on this project? Is this a together project? TerraDrift.com?
Wait. We have to address the made-up last name.
Oh,
So
yes. Okay. Yes.
you're just going to let that slide, which is fine.
Listen, I don't want to cause any problems. I didn't want to go deeper, but
So what's the
all
story
right.
on the last name?
Yeah. So the last name. So
Do we all get to choose our last names?
I mean, why
At
not?
some point, yeah.
You know?
I should.
so the whole idea was to just kind of combine our last names instead of doing a traditional thing.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are we working with then?
Instead of me taking his last name when we got married, I took half of mine, which was McDaniel, and half of his, which was Morris.
Yep.
And we have McDarris.
I love that. That's great.
That's a great idea.
And that's the rest of that story.
Okay.
I'm so glad that we
that is
asked.
that story.
Thanks for sharing that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I don't know. I heard that and I'm like, are they shitting me or what? Like, is this how is this? This is who
Super
makes up their
common
last names? You know?
Super common last name.
Yeah. This
It
makes
does
sense.
exist.
Okay.
I didn't think it did, but it does.
You found one.
I've seen a few others floating around out there.
I
Yeah.
could see somebody late night looking up, trying to find more McDarrises in their family tree.
Yeah. We're like,
Yeah.
sorry, guys. Not us.
Oh,
Not
That's
your
fantastic.
Family. Not in the family.
you've been in Ogden a long time, just over a month,
Yeah.
I think.
Long time.
So feel at home.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Feels good.
Where was the first, places you visited? Sort of the first things you did when you got here.
Oh man, let's see. Well, when the very first time we came to Ogden, we were partnering with Snow Basin to sort of talk about on our blog and YouTube channel their Learn to Ski program. And so that was really the very first place we ever visited in Ogden. We're vegan, so we looked up all of the places we could get great vegan food. So we went to Cuppa, we went to, and that was of course one of the first places we came back to when we moved here, headed to Harp and Hound for those epic deep fried avocado rolls. Like hit up the library, checked out the Monarch. We were here just in time for First Friday in October. So that was kind of like the first thing we did once we moved here in Ogden, and explored the Monarch here and meandered around town just to kind of see what the art scene was about.
Yeah, checked out some of the running and mountain biking groups. That was pretty cool. Went to Snow Basin and did a Halloween ride, which was like my first.
So you guys jumped right in. There's no messing around.
Right in.
We don't mess
jump
around.
right in. Okay. And we talked before. You spent a lot of time in Austin, but then spent some time in Arkansas.
Yes.
And then found Ogden because Ogden fits some criteria. Talk to me about that criteria that you were looking for.
We had a ridiculous long list of things to consider before we
yeah.
moved to a city. It obviously had to have mountains because as we just, we're in our 30s and we haven't lived anywhere near mountains. We're in the outdoor industry. It's just stupid at this point. So
check. So that's a big check.
Yep,
Yes,
we have
yeah.
those.
If you're at home right now, you can try to.
check.
There's a list. Yeah.
And also access. Part of that is access. So you can live near mountains, like we were talking about previously. You can live in Denver, but actually getting into the mountains is a whole nother story.
Takes a hot minute.
So, yeah.
Right. I wanted to be able to ride my bike to the mountains.
Gotcha.
Check.
Yep, exactly. So we got kind of two things going there. It like I said, we're vegan, so it had to at least have one good vegan restaurant.
Okay, the longer you stay, the more you're gonna have to start your own vegan restaurant.
It's true.
I would go.
I was going to say, where do you go grocery shopping? Todd would know.
Salt Lake's got some good places, and it's not far away. So
it does.
Yeah.
It does have some good places. So yeah, we're kind of finding out where else we can eat that's not like fully vegan. Obviously, found some good food, so we're satisfied. It has more vegan options than Fayetteville, Arkansas. So I'm not complaining.
that's what our new little slogan.
More vegan options than Fayetteville.
Yeah, our one option is
it'll
more
be
than Fayetteville.
More than Fayetteville. Ogden, more than Fayetteville.
Exactly.
Yeah. Which is one.
Yeah.
It's a start. It's because you start balancing all of the mountains in your backyard. Maybe a half a point more, less vegan restaurants than I would love. Maybe a little less, but it's still we're still looking good on your list. So
Still
okay,
looking
yeah.
good.
What else is
Looking
on that?
good. Yep.
list?
We needed an airport. We travel a lot for work, so.
And did you know Ogden had its own little airport?
I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't.
Yeah. I mean, does anybody use it? I don't know.
I don't know either.
But we have a good international airport.
Yep.
Yep, down Salt Lake. So, and that's like 40 minutes away or something. So
I took that for granted. I'll say I had no idea. And then when I was getting the tan van fixed in Nowhere, Idaho, and his job was to fly around the United States to different events and MC the big trucks, the big truck events, whatever. And he has to drive to Salt Lake. It's like a 4-hour drive to get to a decent international airport. Yeah, which I thought, oh my gosh, I've lived in Ogden forever, and
we have a good airport, and now we have an even better airport.
Totally took it for granted.
Or at least they spent more money on it. I like our airport too.
The Ogden one?
Yeah, no, Salt Lake.
Salt Lake, yeah.
Salt Lake, 35, 40 minutes is not very far.
No,
Yeah,
that's
pretty close.
That's pretty good.
Not too bad.
Yeah,
it is.
Okay,
It
so airport check.
Yep. It needed to have good outdoor stores. Although by the time we got here, Gear 30 was closed. So
How did that happen?
Very sad.
But if you
Bummer.
want some fixtures from,
I mean, we got
30,
some of the trees here.
all of these are from
Thank
that
you.
store.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
and I'll bet you'd find a few Gear 30 things in Brandon's closet as well.
I know.
So if you
Well, they
need
kept
some
asking
things,
me like, "What do you want?" I'm like, "I don't need anything." So I don't need- like when you work at a store that long, you don't need to take anything. But
No.
they were like, you can grab whatever. I'm like, I'm not gonna grab stuff I don't need. Like I don't even need it. I'll take the trees, the stupid pine trees, and put them in our studio. They're not stupid. They're awesome, and
They were pretty great.
make the decor look nice. So you can see one.
Yeah, thank you,
Josh, this
Betty.
camera's on you, but you can see the tree in the corner over there. And that came from, and then those lovely brown chairs came from the shop as well.
Thank you, Gear 30, sacrificing yourself for our trees and chairs.
All right, so that closed down. So that was checked off, and then it was like you got to scratch that
You're
one
like,
out.
we got to get to Ogden quick
Yeah.
before the mountains are further away.
Oh my god.
Yeah, the first time we walked in there was probably when it was,
Getting ready to close.
getting ready to
Probably
close.
met
So,
Devin. Was Devin in there?
everyone in there was very sad, and we didn't know
Wow.
why.
Wow, this hurts. No, but now you know why.
Now we know why.
I think
Now
we're
we know why.
Yeah,
At least there are a lot of good bike shops, so that
lots of
That's
good
true.
bike shops.
We do have a lot of
There's
bike
a good
shops.
discount outdoor store, but that's it. And then
Sure.
the outdoor stores, and that's why. So you probably don't know this, but I'm one of the ones who started Gear 30.
mhm.
But that was why, because the other gear shop in town was on Riverdale Road. Actually,
There's a good secondhand one.
yeah,
a good-
good secondhand one. There's a good
Sorry.
secondhand one, Second Tracks,
Yeah.
then a good discount one.
Mhm.
But the high end or higher end one had Canyon Sports was what it was called, and they did mountain bike rentals, along with ski fleet rentals and stuff. But they had great. It was a great shop. They closed down. It had been a year or two before we'd had a good shop in town. And I worked with a guy named Greg Reynolds at the outdoor program, and we were both at Weber State University at the time. And that's the question was, what are you going to do when you graduate, right? And so he said, well, my father-in-law would like to open an outdoor shop. And I said, well, I have this blog, which, that's what you do. So that comes with an audience, right? But it's hard to make money from these things. At least it was in 2010. Maybe you've got it dialed in. I don't know, but it's hard. You can make great money actually. But in 2010, I didn't know how to do it. And so I said, well, I got this blog and Todd and I have this radio show and we have this following. If you want to start a shop, maybe I'm a be of use. We can bring the people who follow us along. And so I was invited to be the marketing director for the company, and it started in 2012, and it just went out of business this year in 2023. So it made it just over 10 years, but sadly no more.
Womp
Yeah.
womp.
Womp, womp. Wait, I think I have no, I don't. Well, maybe. Nope, that's the wrong one.
Wrong, Seth.
Wrong.
That's so sad.
Oh,
Wow. That's like a knife in the back.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. Oh,
just kick you out the
that
door.
was, yeah. What's a glockenspiel? Anybody know what a glockenspiel
At
is?
this point, I just did it. Nope, not that.
Oh, a
Okay.
glockenspiel. Okay.
But it's a good for like an idea.
Yes. Oh, I got an idea. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Anyway. So,
It was a good long run, though.
if you want to, thank you. And it was fun. It was a lot of fun. And we had a lot of really good gear in Ogden being sold. A lot of people bought it. And there's some other shops in town, like Amher Sports is in town. There's brands in Utah like Black Diamond, Volet, that made it actually for a while difficult and Amher Sports and the companies underneath it made it difficult to sell those brands out of a specialty store in a small town, because a lot of people who are your customers also worked there, had a buddy who worked there. Everybody knows somebody who can get a pro deal. And so the small town thing, it became hard. So there were some brands that we had to just give up early on because we couldn't compete with the pro deal thing. And the outdoor industry struggled with that for a while. And then they tried to fix it. They tried to, Black Diamond was one of the first that tried to okay, we got to figure this out, and then Amher Sports came in. We had Arc'teryx and it was like, well, we can't sell full price Arc'teryx when you can go across the street and get them, from their store, like a year old, but nobody cares, at like half the price because it's still a super sweet Arc'teryx jacket. So okay, there goes Arc'teryx. And so we dealt with some of that at first, but slowly we found the brands that we could kind of keep. Rab was one. Oh, this isn't Rab. I usually wear Rab one. Rab was one that we really liked. That's
Nice,
not, easy to find in
Rab's a
Utah.
good one.
Some of those, Big Agnes was one, and that's probably one if you're a retailer in Colorado. Probably everybody knows somebody who works at Big Agnes.
Sure, yeah,
but here in Utah, that was a good brand for us. But anywho, okay, so the gear shops was something you looked for, and we have them, sort of. Anything else?
What else was there, Josh?
I don't know. There was.
I mean, I wanted, we wanted mountain bike groups and,
Yeah, just a vibrant outdoor community,
Okay.
which, generally speaking, when you have winter and mountains, that's there to some.
It's inherent a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
extent. So
Yeah.
Okay, so that list consists of mostly things that you did some research on beforehand.
Right.
But as someone who has also moved a lot,
Hashtag transplant.
yeah, good at the research, but then also a lot of surprises where it's just like, oh, all right, didn't know that. And
Right. Yep.
and didn't know that. And we were talking a little bit
I
about
feel this is going negative, Todd. What?
oh
reality, just the
Okay,
reality
okay,
of
sure.
when you moved here, and what can we help you with, kind of collectively. We're neighborly. We enjoy new people to town, and so is there anything at this point that we can assist you with, that our listeners can help you with, find these things, or maybe explain something that doesn't make any sense?
Good question.
Oh
Todd.
man. There was a lot of Googling to try to answer things that didn't make sense when
All
we
right,
moved
all
here.
right. Okay. Well, you feel free to jot down anything that is outside of Google's realm, because that's the idea with trivia in general, is that it's all of this information that is just swimming around
Right.
sure.
that we're more than happy to help you with. So
Yeah, no, we're just really like gunning to get plugged into the outdoor community and kind of find our place here and meet up with groups and like you already told us, Brandon, about Ogden Abbey.
Yeah.
And their
Bash is Thursday.
yeah, their bash this week. And
Which,
so-
by the way, Todd, today, Alisha, sorry,
Yeah, no worries.
this is very important information. It's not important at all.
you're just gonna forget it.
Yeah,
That's
well,
why I'm saying. Yeah.
So
That's fair.
I got a call from Corey today, and he's like, "Do you know a DJ?" I'm like, "I know one, and he's good, but he charges
Are you talking about you?
no,
Oh.
but we'll get there.
Yeah.
But he charges a lot of money, but he does a lot for." It's Bryson Dearden, right? He
Right.
does a lot of like up Snow Basin and stuff, and so he understands the crowd. He gets it, and so reach out to him. And I know a couple other DJs, but they don't quite their style is a little. Ogden Avalanche crews, you got to know what you're up against, So I want to make sure you know what you're up against before I send you a DJ referral. But Bryson can handle it. And then I made the mistake, Todd, of saying like, dude, I know how to DJ, but I don't.
You're kind of starting,
But I'm
you
starting.
do
Yes,
have
I own a beginner's
your toe is in the world.
DJ thing. I don't even know what they call it, like console thing, whatever.
Yeah.
And so, and Corey's like, okay, yeah, why don't you just do it? I'll pay you. I'm all, no, because you'll get what you pay for, and it's bad because I don't even know how to use the buttons, and this is going to be the worst night ever. But we have equipment, we have speakers, I have a Spotify playlist. Like you can pay to rent that stuff, and I'll show up and pretend like I know how to DJ. So I may be the DJ Thursday.
Hey,
Very loose terms.
Well, what a treat.
Yeah. So you can watch me learning in real time. If that doesn't sell it for you,
so
I
it
don't know
means
what will.
you're going to be drinking in one place rather than drinking around.
Correct. This is correct. And so, yes. And oh, by the way, our mics here at Banyan, they have cables on them. They're not the cordless kind that most DJs have and bring these
Right,
nice,
right.
very beautiful, which allows me to then walk throughout the premises and communicate and MC from wherever. So
All right,
I
I'll
will
put it on the
be
list. Put it on the
standing in
list.
one spot, DJing, MCing, potentially both. So be there Thursday at the front.
I can't wait.
Oh my
All
God.
right.
Who's going to be there?
I don't know.
Food?
Beer and
Lucky Slice? gonna
Lucky
be there?
Slice,
Okay,
most likely. hmm
most likely. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And people
Thursday.
who know about avalanche.
And climbing, but you can't drink and climb. That's not legal at
It's
the front. Yeah,
also a
you
bad
can't do
idea.
that. So I've done it, but it's not advisable.
Yeah, yeah.
I think many people who've done it, it's just not advisable.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
So be there Thursday, but that is a fundraiser for Ogden Avalanche, and so yeah, diving into those kind of groups, really going to those types of events, you'll meet people, and you'll find some you click with, you'll find some you don't click with, and then you'll be like, okay, let's hang out with these people, avoid those people, or whatever. So that's a good place to start.
Absolutely, that's the goal. Just
so,
meet people.
So we love what you're doing as far as putting yourself out there. Like that's one thing that we can say, Brandon and I, and honestly, anyone involved with some of the Banyan things that we do, is the fact that 15 years we've been trying to be a resource, right, for the community. And I think for the most part, the word is out after.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I mean,
14
you never
years
know,
is
but
the
yeah.
magical year, I think, for that.
14.
But the one thing that you have sometimes in, people that want to try certain things, they're intimidated by the thing that they want to try. And it's it's taking that first step kind of with what you're doing as far as just introducing yourself, kind of putting yourself into a group, finding out what the groups are. There's always experience level. Maybe you're up here, but maybe there's a lot of people down here, but that group is open to, all levels. But what have you found, how beneficial is it for you to kind of push yourself a little bit? I don't know if it's in your comfort zone or out of your.
Oh, sorry. It refreshed. My bad.
Nope. That was how he plays me off.
Yep.
That's just basically.
Enough talking.
And we're done.
Yeah. That was like the longest question ever. So we got to, yep.
It used to be the little mark across the throat. Now it's just literally playing me out. Basically, the benefit of putting yourself out there in a new community. All right.
There's a definite benefit, and I'm not going to say it comes naturally
right
to either of us, because Josh especially, introvert, yes, you would
A little bit.
describe yourself,
Yeah,
yes.
sure.
I'm maybe a bit of an ambivert, depending on the day.
Wait, what is that? I haven't heard it before.
It's like half and half.
Is it?
You're
In certain situations, you're outgoing, and others, you're not okay.
I kind of fall a little bit in that. I prefer
Yeah.
being in the back of the room.
Gotcha.
Give me a mic and I can be there.
Yeah.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
but at some point I hit a wall and I'm like,
Yep.
I don't want to talk to anybody anymore. So
I'll get there in about 12 minutes in this show.
okay, great, perfect.
Yeah, we're-
But I think part of moving as often as we have is sort of like, if we don't do that, if we don't sort of like push out of our comfort zone and try to meet people, and like at Literary Deathmatch, I was so nervous. I'm like, what do I even say to these people? I just say who I am, and then what? What happens then? I don't know. But I went.
We
through
all
the-
laugh loudly.
Exactly.
Yes.
They're all gonna laugh at me. They're gonna
Points.
think I'm weird.
At point.
Point.
who's this weird woman?
Yeah.
But like, I think we didn't do that, especially when we first lived in Austin. And so it took forever to meet people and get plugged in and like find our community. And after that, I was just like, we're not doing that anymore. So
Yep.
Even when we lived in Fayetteville, I think we went to like another one of those sort of art walk type things in a community, and just started chatting with some of the artists and business owners that were there, and that's how we made friends. Was that very first
Art
thing
walks
we
are
went to.
good for that, I think.
Yeah.
I went to that one in Pensacola this summer, and it's like, you buy a little thing from one of the booths, and then all of a sudden you're best friends with the person that owns the booth or whatever, and then you have a conversation and you meet people, and you're like, okay, I know one person in this town now. All right, and we'll move on to the next one. So those art walks are very good for stuff like that.
Yeah, and if you happen to meet somebody who like has a podcast, and
Per se, yeah.
per se, or is very plugged into the community you're kind of part of, like, that's just even better. Lucky stars, I guess.
Good place. We're a good place to start. We do know quite a few people. I mean, Todd knows everyone. I'm getting there, so we're together.
We're dialed in.
We're dialed in.
Awesome.
So I think that now might be a good time for me at least, because I know you've had some conversations with Brandon, is to find out a little bit about what you do.
Yeah.
The blogging, tell us, about what you do, where we can find your information. What do we need to know?
Absolutely. So it's just Josh and I. We co-founded a blog and YouTube channel. It's terradrift.com, as in Earth and drift, one word, terradrift.com. We have a YouTube channel as well. And the whole idea, and this kind of links back to what you were just saying, Todd, about like getting out of your comfort zone, trying something new, is we do a lot of gear reviews, a lot of that sort of thing, a lot of how-tos, and a lot of destination guides and highlights. And it's all focused on sustainability. So it's all like, all the gear we review is sustainable in some way. We talk about what makes gear sustainable. We talk a lot about, leave no trace principles outdoors, but also like how to break into new things that, maybe you're nervous to try or you've never done before. Like, we've created content about learning to ski because we've never lived near mountains. So we've never really done that. So our audience got to watch us learn to snowboard or whatever, and it was probably hilarious for them, especially if they're actually experienced. But talking about how the outdoors should be a place for everybody, and you don't have to be excellent at it. You don't even have to have all of the gear that we review. You don't need the Arc'teryx jacket. You don't need the Rab shell pants, even though those are all
So I
awesome things.
saw the funniest meme the other day, and it was, and I'm doing it. I'm part of it right now. I'm part of the meme, and it was all these business guys, like 6 business guys, right? And they lined up for a photo, and they all have the vests on, right? And it was, and the comment was like, when did the Patagonia vest all become part of the Fortune 500 CEO lifestyle or whatever? And then the best comment underneath it was, wait, I thought we all agreed to switch to Arc'teryx. So I'm like, yeah, it's those 2 brands. The Patagonia, you're cool though. As long as, because they're all in their, dress pants and dress shirt, but they got their Patagonia
the
puffy vest on, or their Arc'teryx puffy vest on. And so they're cool.
Yeah.
So,
right.
But I thought it was a funny
Memes
commentary.
are the best.
Aren't they really?
Yep,
Yeah.
these are this was a few months ago. Fall's my favorite month, right? And so it was the first sign of fall, and I think everybody's probably seen the one where it's a Han Solo season. Have you seen the Han
Yes,
Solo
with the women.
season? Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh,
Where it's the leather boots and the tight pants and the vest, and it's like, and then they put you next to a picture of like Han Solo in the first Star Wars movie.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
then the photos of like groups of 6
Women all wearing the
all
same thing.
dressed exactly the same. And it is 100% a uniform. I like it. It's a uniform I get behind 100%.
Yeah.
But that's a funny observation.
I have not seen that meme.
Oh, it's brilliant.
I didn't have to.
Fantastic.
Like I know,
You know
I can
exactly what I
picture
mean.
exactly what you're talking.
It's spot on.
just go to any EDM concert or something. And
Oh, it's so funny.
you'll see a lot of Han Solos walking around. Apparently.
Oh, that's great.
But yes, that's our goal is to help people get outside, like all people get outside more often, do it more sustainably.
Well, this is
more
great.
responsibly.
Now, I'm curious because I know I started Ogden Outdoor Adventure. It was a blog originally, and then when it was a radio show, I eventually I lost the domain at some point. This is a long story. A lot of beers later. So that domain was gone. However, it is not easy. So how long have you been doing it? How did you is this a full-time job? How did you get to that point? Because that is not an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
It's
Yeah,
sort of a
so the-
full-time job.
yeah, I mean the blog started way back in 2013, and the original intention of it was to be more of a travel blog. And it took about, I don't know, 5 years of just kind of, it definitely wasn't full time.
I would call it dabbling.
Yeah,
Dabbling,
we
yeah.
dabbled in blogging.
Yeah,
say.
yeah. Which doesn't get you far.
No.
You got to be
no, it doesn't.
consistent and focused, and yeah.
For sure. So I think it was about 2018. We decided to kind of, put some more juice into it. And
I like that juice.
yeah.
Otherwise known as time and
energy and work. Yeah,
Yeah. And
because you're a video producer, is what I saw in here.
yeah, so
Josh,
I've
yes.
been in the video production business technically for 16 years.
And
this
was
point, I think.
specifically in the outdoors or all over?
Just all over.
Okay,
So
like what?
mostly freelance.
Like commercial work for bigger businesses, or what's your?
So I would be like a camera operator for XYZ production company. I did a lot of editing. It's probably most of what I did.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was I had like one production company that I did a lot of remote work for many years,
Editing.
editing
Yeah,
mostly. And yeah, anyone who would pay me,
sure.
really. But-
Sure. Yeah. And then the blog at one point became important, like you said, around 2018, and you put more juice into it, like you said, and then what happened?
Then we just sort of I think plowed ahead and decided to make it a focus. I say it feels like it's full time. I'm also a freelance journalist. Mostly I write about the outdoors and travel for magazines and websites and things like that. So that's kind of my background. So I do all the writing and photography for the blog, and Josh does all the video production. So we just were like, let's do this together. Let's bring our skills, and when we travel, we will capture these cool outdoor places. We want to make this a lifestyle that Like, this is what we want. We want to play outside. We want to travel around the world and play outside all over the world and share,
make a living doing it.
Yeah, make a living doing it and show other people that they can do it too, you know, and make it a helpful resource, and also, you know, really lean into that sustainability angle, because that's something that's very important to us, like throughout our, you know, lives.
So what have you learned? So, because now it's 2023, where are you at with the website and YouTube now? Because, and it makes a lot of sense, Josh, for, you know, to be on YouTube, because, you know, if you understand editing, that's the place to be. You can eventually get paid for that if you're not already. And then you know, how are we making money with this? And, you know, what's something that you'd maybe give some advice to somebody starting out their own outdoor blog?
Oh man, it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. Yeah,
it's a lot of work.
And I second that, and you got to be passionate about it. And when I was running the Ogden Outdoor Adventure, which I don't do anymore, but it was every morning I'd wake up early and you'd spend hours just putting up a post.
Yep.
Every day. Let alone everything else you got to do for the rest of the day.
And a consistency too.
Because every day, yeah. Because if you're not,
we get a lot of questions on
Yeah.
podcasts, just because that's sort of our niche, and consistency, man. Everybody's got a podcast. And when I say everybody, sometimes the numbers look like they're everybody.
Yeah.
Did you see the stat I sent to you about podcasts? And this might go with your blog numbers / YouTube downloads as well. I find this super interesting. I'll pull it up and you can continue answering my question.
The biggest thing is consistency, but then also whatever that number was, and I can't remember off the top of my head. I try not to focus on any of those. It's just bonkers. But the ones that are still doing it after 3 months, it drops. The ones that are doing it after 6 months drops. And then like a year is unheard of, you know. And so it's just that longevity, and then also the, you know, producing regularly. You could, you know, easily drop a podcast a month or twice a year. You know, I don't know if
they're easy to do. It's easy to blog. It's not easy to stay consistent.
Right.
You know,
yeah, sure. And you could also get really good at it too.
True.
Yeah.
So these are some blog stats. Maybe this goes along with website visits / YouTube visits. So if you had to guess to be in the top 50% of blogs downloaded in the first 7 days, how many downloads do you think that would be in the first 7 days to be in the top 50% of all podcasts produced?
Oh man, I don't even.
Top 50%. What would be the download numbers on the first 7 days? Todd, any guesses?
No, I don't want to know.
29.
Yeah.
If you have 30 downloads in the first 7 days of your podcast, you are in the top 50% of all podcasts.
Wow.
Okay, so the top 25% is 108 in the first 7 days. And then the top 10% of all podcasts is 420. So Banyan sits between the 25 to 10% range on pretty much everything that we put out there. Now the top 5% is 1,000. And every once in a while we'll hit 1,000 in the first 7 days. And we have some that have like, you know.
You know what all this shows me too?
A lot more,
that
but
whenever you get that question, what podcast do you listen to, right?
yeah.
It's usually the same 10 podcasts.
Right.
And you're asking a workplace of 20 people, and they know 10 podcasts, right? And we were just talking, there's more than 10 podcasts out there. There's a lot of local podcasting that nobody ever has heard of, supports, but they know this name, right?
Right.
They know this name. And there's nothing wrong with listening to those, but at the same time, it's they certainly represent like 8%. Let's just say like a 1%, the top 1% of these podcasts.
The top 1% is in the first 7 days. If you have nearly 5,000, it's 4,761 downloads in 7 days. Then you're in the top 1% of all podcasts out there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I think it's important, especially when you're starting your own projects, not to be too hard on yourself, not to compare yourself to any of those yahoos that are getting paid $100 million a year. Or any of the ones that are below that even. I mean, just go further down.
It's going to be the best day ever when Banyan gets a contract to pay Todd $100 million a year, and he can't say that. And he was like, "Oh, you know what? That's me."
I think they already did. I think they were allowed to do that once.
Anyway, the struggles of Terra Drift, TERRA Terra Drift is the blog and YouTube, I guess, is under the same name.
Yep.
Yeah. So biggest lesson maybe you've learned from producing this blog and brand over the years?
Well, I can speak to at least YouTube, like some suggestions for people out there, maybe some guidance, if I can say that.
Lessons learned.
Lessons learned. So yeah, it's definitely consistency. Don't be too hard on yourself. If you're doing it, if you want to do this as a profession, I would recommend, if you want to push hard, I recommend saving up some money first and finding someone that can edit for you. If you're kind of the star of the show,
What should you expect to pay an editor for a YouTube video? 30 minutes, 15 minutes spot, something.
It really depends on what it is.
Okay.
If you're looking for something a little more high end, it could be anywhere from $400 to $650 a day, which is like 10 hours of editing. If you're looking for something a little more entry level, there are services out there that you can pay monthly, and they'll give you X number of minutes of edit. And that's $500-$600, just depending on
a month,
the service. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's huge range. But if you're serious about this and you're doing this as a business, that's I would recommend that, only because what's going to happen if you want to push hard, you're going to burn out, and that is the worst feeling in the world. I've heard there are tons of creators out there that are like, man, I wanted to do this so bad. I pushed really hard. I did a video a day or, every other day, whatever. And I got so fed up with it, I didn't even want to be in the industry anymore. Whatever industry.
Yeah, because you're not enjoying it at that point.
No,
you're just suffering
miserable
through it, right?
Yeah. So that's something. And if you're not at that level, if you don't have the money or don't want to spend the money on that, I would say.
Wait, so Mr. Beast doesn't edit his own videos? This is news.
Did you know, just sidebar, that he has his own chocolate?
He does.
He has a line
Hell yeah.
of chocolate
Hell yeah, why not?
And not just
Do all
anywhere,
the
that's
things.
like 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
So it means that it's in every small town from here to here to here to here.
Oh man.
24 hours a day.
I just can't.
Yeah.
No, but otherwise, if you don't want to do it at that level, don't worry about it. Like time is your friend. All you got to do is be consistent. If all you can do is one video a week, do a video a week.
You can hit it on the same day, same time, every week.
Hit it on the same day. Once you get so many videos, look at your analytics, see when your audience is online. Get on there and interact with your community as much as you can. Encourage them to leave comments, and then you can get into things like Patreon, and you can go from there. But look at what other people are doing on YouTube. Replicate what they're doing to an extent. Change it, put your little spin on it. Look at their thumbnails, see what they're doing with thumbnails, because that is huge on YouTube. Just design in general for Instagram and all that kind of stuff. Any kind of social media. See what the big guys are doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And put out a good product too. I think that really does make up for
Also
a lot
important.
as well. And there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of noise, and doing something similarly than what you're probably doing. And so I think that in our case, it was longevity, right? The product is fine.
We just won't quit.
Yeah. But
We just don't stop. Yeah.
But year after year after year after year after year, this was a reason for us to have these, dedicated moments to hang out. And it was one of those things
And
where
we're going to meet people.
And
It's fantastic.
Honestly, that was a huge part of it, is the chance to meet people, find out what they did, to pick their brain, use their ideas, share our ideas. I think that collectively, people, let's be honest. I mean, what we're collectively doing wasn't around that long ago. So there's particularly, I'll be honest, 2010 when we started, podcasting was around, but not nearly what it is. And when you're looking up the things you can look up now, you couldn't even find this stuff. And so the analytics was difficult to track and barely usable at that time. You couldn't, find out really in any sort of, trustworthy sense how many people are listening to anything that you have.
Yeah, podcasting was a wild
tracking
west
the
back
things
in the
that
day.
you had.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they were, say we're looking for sponsors, they're still treating it like old school radio, and it's not that. And so it's one of those things where it is a little, I don't want to say easier, but it's easier to track things. It's easier to look up how to do the basic things now. And then reaching out, like exactly what we're doing collectively, the four of us chatting here, kind of sharing ideas. We're open to chat with, maybe not right in the middle of like when we're doing a show. Sometimes we'll get the question where it's just like, I got a question about what you're doing when we're recording. But you'll notice that we will always sit down and chat with somebody. The first Friday art strolls during our van sessions during the art strolls, I am always available. I don't know most of the time what Brandon does those nights. He doesn't know what I do those nights.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I'm talking to 150 people on those nights, right? And I'm giving them all time to, share what I do, or people that want to start their own podcast, or, all the ors, right? But I'm totally available. I'm sure that you are both, especially now that we get to know you today. If somebody walked up to you tomorrow, I'm sure you give them a couple minutes to chat,
Oh, yeah.
for sure.
But it's those conversations that just really, I don't know, it gets you out of the basement and into the world. Not that there's anything wrong with recording your basement.
No, but Todd, I did find this article that I wanted to talk about on Terra Drift.
Oh boy, I can't wait.
You dig
Because-
deep?
No, not
We're
deep at
gonna
all.
get
Front
deep.
page.
Oh, front page. All right.
Just like scroll down a little.
Newly dropped.
6
right.
sustainable sports bras for
Woo!
outdoor adventure.
Yeah.
This is very important
Yeah.
because, one, when I read it, I thought sustainable meaning they'll last a long time, but that's not what you mean, right? That you mean like sustainable, like they're good for the environment.
Right.
Yeah.
But I was thinking like immediately like, well, yeah, because those things, they probably burn through those things. Like,
Well,
I
maybe
mean,
we'll
like,
look
you
at
know,
that too.
yeah.
Yeah,
so
that can
yeah.
definitely be part of it.
Yes.
be part of
for
it.
sure.
Okay. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, part of sustainability is
how long do they
durability.
last? Durability. Okay. So hitting all the topics
All the topics.
on Terra Drift. Yeah, very good stuff. Alisha,
We also talk about pooping in the woods a lot. So
that's a big thing.
that's
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's a
It
big
is.
thing.
It
is
has
an
taken
issue.
years to guide Brandon away from pooping stories and storytelling. And I'm fine. I'm fine with
Yeah,
it. But
yeah.
Brandon feels very strongly about pooping, right?
I have
And
a
so-
crap strap.
Yeah.
Have you heard of
Oh,
that?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, I have.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Gotcha.
But Brandon's your guy. So if you
Yeah.
ever want to have this conversation, I don't mind
We
being
go
in the
deep
room, but
in the poo.
Now,
yeah.
is that the one that you put around the tree and you,
Yes.
like, lean into?
Yeah.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Seem
lean
comfy.
into it.
They seem comfy.
Get on nice and deep up in there.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Yeah,
Gosh.
I just go with the lean against the tree most of the time.
I like a
That's-
good rock.
Oh,
You know, a good
Yeah.
chair rock log
Sure, yeah.
situation thing. But the crap strap is an interesting tool if there's
I've never
that's
even
a-
heard of
available.
these things.
Yes, I'm just a very good I don't know, my hips are very flexible, I
Mm.
guess. So I'm just a very good squatter. Yeah.
that's like
It's all
old school,
about.
man. That's
Oh yeah,
what
I
it's
go
all
old
about.
school.
yeah.
I go old school. We have multiple reviews of pants that are designed for anyone who squats to pee.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
You know,
it's
if you-
important
you-
to know those things. Yeah.
to go with the sports bras, you
Sure.
gotta have the Nara pants with the second zipper for
Oh, I
peeing
didn't
with
know
your
that.
yeah,
I
peeing
didn't
with
know
your
that.
pants
Okay.
on.
Peeing with your pants on.
Yeah,
This is a subject you didn't know you
Yeah.
needed to know, but this is true.
seriously, they're pants that
Yeah.
change your life if you squat to pee.
See? Terradrift.com.
That's right.
Here,
That's
Terradrift.com. A pleasure having you guys in studio and meeting you. Josh, wish you all the luck in video production. Alisha, your blogs are great. The voice is very well done, so I appreciate it. It's easily acceptable. It's easy to read, you know, like it's easy to understand. You don't have to get too techie on some of this stuff, so anyone can jump in and just sort of dive in. And you do travel. You go different places. Like you guys get around.
Oh yeah.
So I find that like a dream job of part of what you do, which is pretty cool.
It is pretty fun.
So yeah, welcome to Ogden.
Thank
It's
you.
official.
Thank
You're now here. It's been a month.
Excellent.
Todd, what you got? Anything?
There is the one thing that we have to follow up on. But
Okay.
so we have been covering for years, and we were one of the first to openly talk about it within days. But I'm sure you've read around it. Gwyneth Paltrow's The Ski Trial, right?
Yeah,
There's a
I thought it
follow-up
was
on the ski
over.
trial. All right, so the case was wrapped, but how can I say this? I'm just going to come right out and say it. So the ski trial is being turned into a musical in London.
Full.
No.
Are you what?
Yeah, and so it's called. I didn't bring my reading glasses with me, so I can't see well. But it's called Gwyneth Goes Skiing. It's going to be opening in London. It's a comedy parody, and here is
Comedy parody.
So she's the Goop founding, door sliding. That's one of her movies.
Yeah.
Shakespeare and Loving, consciously uncoupling, Hollywood superstar. He's a retired optometrist from Utah.
Yes.
In 2016, they went skiing. The synopsis for the Awkward Productions, that's the name of their production company.
That's so good.
Their show reads, on the slopes of Deer Valley, their worlds collided, and so did they, literally.
So did they.
7 years later, in 2023, they went to court. This is
a
their
musical.
story, kind of.
Oh,
Not really.
Kind of.
But also,
God,
it's at Christmas.
brilliant. Also, it's Christmas. Yes.
So I have a feeling that we're
Best
not going to be able to
Christmas
see
ever.
that here, but I
Oh.
would love to see, I want to, give me one performance like during Sundance or something. Have them
Right?
come over,
Yeah.
do Gwyneth Goes Skiing.
Oh God, that's
Oh my gosh,
funny.
we have been talking about that story for years.
Yeah.
And
I gotta
I
see
like
that
how it
musical.
ended as well. That I know you'd appreciate that.
That's an infamous story, but
Gwyneth Goes Skiing.
Gwyneth
Oh,
goes
wow.
skiing. Okay, so the official Utah snow report: Alta is open, Beaver Mountains to be determined, Bryan Head is open, Brighton is open, Cherry Peak is to be determined, Deer Valley this Saturday, Eagle Point is Friday the 15th. Now I don't know how Nordic's they must be crushing it with snowmaking because Nordic is gonna open on Saturday apparently, according to Ski Utah. Park City Mountain is open, Powder Mountain. They're going to do night skiing only because they're all fresh. December 7th. And then I think they're going to open the whole resort on December 8th. So they must have some snow sticking and staying. And we're supposed to get blasted this weekend, I think. So it could be a good weekend. Snow Basin is Thursday. So Thursday is that's in 2 days. It should be open. And then Snowbird is also Thursday. Solitude's open. Sundance is this Saturday. And Woodward is open. So there you go. That's your official Ski Utah snow report. And it's that time of year. Like we're
What an
darn
exciting time.
near open. Yeah,
Yeah.
on all the things.
So Brandon, what's coming up on Friday?
Band sessions.
What else happened on Friday night?
It's your birthday.
That's my birthday.
It's your birthday.
So
It's your birthday.
so I said- I said this
Happy
night-
birthday.
How
Yeah.
often does your birthday fall on Advanced Sessions night? And so make sure and come out and say hi. And of course, we'll have incredible lineup of musicians, but the drinks will be flowing and maybe we'll have some cake over here. And anyway,
Snap.
come say hi. So
It's
Yeah.
not a birthday without cake.
yes, exactly. So
Yeah.
come say hi on Friday night.
Thank you to Banyan One. That's this trailer right here for powering today's episode of the Ogden Arts and Adventure Show. Listen and subscribe to Ogden Arts and Adventure on YouTube. Speaking of, thanks, Josh. Look for us on Facebook, Instagram, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and thebandingcollective.com. And you don't have to run into us at a random event in Ogden. You can actually just DM us on Instagram if you would like, at Ogden Adventure, if you want to be on the show or if you have a guest in mind to be on the show. Listen, we don't even know these people. Okay?
But if it's after dark,
We don't
you
even
see
know these
Brandon
people.
walk into his car at night,
that
the parking lot is
Yep.
not well lit. That's when he likes it. He
just knock
accepts
on the window.
questions. Yeah,
Knock on-
exactly.
Just scare the hell out of me. Okay. This week's Outdoor Jukebox is TV Heads by Imaginary Friends. That show was fire. That was last month on Van Sessions. And so this is TV Heads as recorded during Van Sessions. And we will see you on the next Ogden Arts and Adventure Show.
sorry. Pupils dilated from the sea. And the static of the set is getting louder in your head. Or maybe you should just go to bed. And you've invested all your time, and you can't see through the light, that you're a puppet on the streets and hiding all the things from you. While they're walking down the street, they're dragging their feet, and the people have yet to prevail. The 7-9 screens, they're watching TV, and the people are all now, they're on TV heads now. They're on TV heads now. On their faces are lit up, screens buzzing just larger, and their bodies have no motion, and nobody shows emotion, so we leave that up every day. And you've invested all your time, and you can't see through the lies, that you're a puppet on the strings, and they're hiding all the things from you. While they're walking down the streets, they're dragging their feet, and the people have yet to prevail. The 7-9 screens, they're watching TV, and the people are all now, they're on TV heads now. They're on TV heads now.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Imaginary Friends on Band Sessions. They said they were going to start with the banger. I think that was true. Yes.